Okay, the subject is trigonometry. That's what we're studying today. So here we have a right angle triangle. Trigonometry is concerned about right angle triangles. Now, first of all, in this right angle triangle we have over here, we have our angle marked out as theta. That's a little symbol there. Now, the first thing that we must be able to do is to be able to label the diagram. So if I just select a gray pen, so opposite the angle is called the opposite. That's nice. Opposite the angle is called the opposite. Now, and then if you go opposite the right angle, that gives us the side that is called the hypotenuse, which is simplified by the height of the word there. And the leftover side is called the adjacent. So these are the three sides that we're dealing with in our trigonometry questions. So in our trigonometry questions, it's dealing with the opposite side, is dealing with the hypotenuse, which is the longest side, and it's dealing with the adjacent. And I've used these three letters for short, rather than writing the whole thing out. Okay, now we have three of our identities. So for example, if we look at this we have the sine identity. Sine is sah, is O, opposite, divided by the hypotenuse. These are here identities. Is basically, this is how we do trigonometry. We use these as like a toolbox. You don't necessarily need to know where they come from, how do we get there. All you need to know is this is the tools that we use. The cos is A over H. I will show you how you use them. Okay. And then we have tan. So these are three trigonometrical ratios. So for tower, that's going to be opposite of adjacent. Okay, so that's the origin of our trigonometry based on these three identities: sine of the angle, cos of the angle, and tan of the angle. Now we're going to simplify this greatly. We're going to simplify this by saying, I don't know whether you guys have heard of the word SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. Okay, that SOHCAHTOA comes from this S for sine, O for opposite, H for hypotenuse. Ka comes from C for cos, A for adjacent, and H for hypotenuse. The letters will match up. And TOA comes from, the T stands for tan, the O stands for opposite, and the A stands for adjacent. So this is the way that we use to help us remember how these sign, what goes on top is the opposite on top, the hypotenuse on top, and so on. Okay, SOHCAHTOA. It's a way to help us to remember. Okay. Now we can further simplify this subject by making small formula triangles that will help us even further when we start doing the questions. So let's change the color of our pen. Let's go for something like this. Okay, now so we can draw some formula triangles. Okay, let's see which triangles we want. The triangle there. Okay, and then we can have. That's lovely. Okay, well, let's get back to my paintbrush. Okay, so we have. Okay, so I want my pen back. No, I haven't got my pen back. I need my pen. Well, let's just undo that last action. That's better. Okay, all right, let's get some lines. Okay, let's get back to our brush. Okay, so here we have it. So trigonometry uses three trigonometrical ratios: sine, cos, and tan. And to help us remember this in exam, we use this thing called SOHCAHTOA. And the SOHCAHTOA, each letter represents the sine, the cos, and the tan, respectively. And to further simplify it for ourselves, so when we go to the examination, we can do the question quite easily. We use these formula triangles, which symbolize SOH, CA, and TOA. Okay. Now that we've been introduced to SOHCAHTOA, now we can actually start going on to some actual questions and look at how we would do actual questions using these formula triangles. Okay, so let's get to a new page. Okay, here comes our new page. So remember, trigonometry is all to do with what kind of triangles? It's to do with the right angles triangles only. So I'll be drawing right angle triangles for you today. So in a right angle triangle, the thing that signifies this right angle triangle is the small square in the corner, which signifies that it's a right angle. Okay, so let's get back to okay. Now, the angle here is given to us as 35 degrees. Okay, and we are told, so for example, this context could be, for example, this is a ladder, and it is, say, 3 meters long. Okay, and we want to know how far it is from the base. Okay, I think we should first of all move our triangles a little bit too close towards that. Let's see if we can grab it. Something we'll just about manage it. Okay, so we've got to work out the bottom. Now, in order for us to work out how far this ladder is away from the base of the building, we need to first of all label our diagram. So let's start from the angle. So opposite the angle is called the opposite, as we said earlier in the video. Opposite the right angle is called the hypotenuse, which is the longest side. And the leftover side, or the last side that we label, is called the adjacent. Okay, so in our question today, we have a question that is asking us about the adjacent, but we know the hypotenuse. Oops. Okay, so our connection, we know the angle. We know the hypotenuse, and we want to work out the adjacent. Now, because our question is connected between adjacent and the hypotenuse, the A and the H make the sound A. And A comes from the Ka. The question is to do with A and H. So A and H makes the sound of A. And that A comes from our SOHCAHTOA, which one part has an A and it's Ka. So now what we can do, we can draw a nice little triangle to help us start of the question. Okay, right now, so let's just reinstate the line in the middle. So we take, okay, let's get back to our brush. Okay, so we have Ka. Okay, now the next part is it's a nice part we're going to do. Let's have a look what we have to now tick the parts that we know and cross the parts that we don't know. Okay, so not that don't know, the one we want to work out. So the adjacent is the part that we want to work out. So over the adjacent, I want you to put your finger on there. There's my fingernail, put it over there. So that's the bit that we want to work out. So adjacent is what we want to work out, and we know the angle, because the angle is here. We know it. Here we go. And we know the hypotenuse, which is over here. So in order for me to work out the adjacent, which I covered with my finger, it tells me how to work it out. So the adjacent is equal to the cos of the angle multiplied by the hypotenuse. Okay, so now we've established that the adjacent, the missing bottom side here that we want, is equal to the cos of the angle times by hypotenuse. So let's get a different color. Okay, so the cos of what's the angle? The angle is 35. Okay, and then times it by the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse, what is it? Hypotenuse is 3. So we have cos 35 times by 3. Now, obviously, this is a calculator paper type of question, so we just activate our calculator. Just move this calculator to the other side here a bit. Okay, so now, yes. Now, this is how I've written on the piece of paper. Let's see how the calculator deals with it. So you press cos. When you press cos on the calculator, it gives you one bracket. So you type in your 35, then you close the bracket. So that's showing on here, but it's not on my diagram here, on my working here. Just because the calculator looks slightly different. Okay? Always make sure you close the bracket off, because that's the end of the cos part of the calculation. And then you type time by 3. You press the equal button. And that gives you a nice, lovely answer. Okay, well, that's what normally happens. Okay, so let me see if I can memorize the answer. 2.4574, that's enough. 2.4574. Okay, so the adjacent is equal to that. Now, we need to round that off, obviously, because we've got 3 meters of hypotenuse. I would say give it to 1 decimal place. So we need to stop there. Yeah.
How come 35 times by 3 isn't it 105?
Oh, good question. Okay, we are not working at 35 times by 3. We're working at the cos of 35 times by 3. And the cos of 35, that's a trigonometrical function. It gives you a very small number. And then you times that small number by 3. Okay, I'll go back to it in a second and show you how that works. So you look at this one. This number here is called the decider. Okay, that's 5 or more. You add 1. So the 2.5 now becomes, so the adjacent, the bottom part, is 2.5 meters away from the base. Okay, 2.5 meters. That's called rounding off to 1 decimal place. So that's the introduction to the topic and also an example. So this was our example number 1, where we had to use trigonometrical ratios to work out a side. In the next question, in the next video, we'll be showing you how to work out an angle. Okay, not an angle, an angle. Okay, 2.5 meters, 1 decimal place. That's all done. Now let's quickly go back to the initial query. So if I just reset that and I press cos of 35, so that gives us something very small. And then we multiply this by 3, and that is how we got our original answer of 2.45745 and so on. Okay, that's where that comes from. Okay. All right, and now that's the end of this video.